All right, welcome back, everyone. You're watching The Green Room, and I'm your host, Aima. And we have DJ Lady Grace and Juma in the house today on a panel discussion. So let's get right back into it. We're talking about award shows. So, Juma, what's your take on that?
The award show thing, I'm honestly sort of ambivalent when it comes to that, because on the one hand, I agree, with Grace's point that, pointing to the scripture that, give honor where honor is due, the workman's worthy was hired.
That's right.
So on and so forth. But on the other hand, there's this, there's this hesitance towards them. I would have to find out, what was the initial intent on creating Christian award shows. You know what I'm saying? If it was the same intent or if Christian award shows were birthed out of some of the same ideas that the gospel music industry as we know it was birthed out of, then I have a very basic fundamental problem with them. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case. I don't know what the origin of them is, but again, on the surface level of things, you see a lot of craziness that's going on. You know what I'm saying? A lot of foolishness. I think a lot of people, we've taken our eye off the ball in a number of ways, for a number of reasons. So again, I'd have to find out what exactly they're all about. You know what I'm saying? And to really be able to give a clear and honest assessment on that.
Pastor Rez had actually talked about that last season. On his experience, he had the Holy Hip Hop Award shows, and he was talking about how, I believe he said he didn't want to be a part of that anymore because of what he had experienced when he went down there. So I think you're right in that there can be some good out of it if we go back to the drawing board and try to figure out, what is our purpose, what are we trying to accomplish here, and sort of go away from this this direction that the thing has gone into. Yeah. But I think it's definitely good. You mentioned that it can be a blessing to someone to recognize their work and to say, well done, and it can definitely be a blessing. So yeah, I wouldn't say completely throw it into the trash, but there's definitely a lot of ramification and reinvention that needs to go on there. So yeah, we as a whole, I guess we have a lot of work to do in holy hip hop and in the gospel industry as a whole. It's we've really, like you said, taking our eye off the ball and taking our eye off God. So there's a lot of work to be done. So on the side, what would you say the artists would need to do? Those that are, what would you say we need to do to help? Is there anything that I'm in my home here in Boston, Massachusetts, is there anything that I can do besides pray? Is there anything practical, any practical steps that those watching at home can actually do to make this happen, or to see this happen?
As far as the advancement of Christian hip hop, or just
award shows specifically?
I would say send letters or emails. I'm not exactly sure how effective it would be. Honestly, I would probably, to be honest, prayer would probably be the best thing. That God would just convict their hearts about some of the things that they see. And maybe they'll just view the things that they see at their award show through a different lens. Maybe view it through God's eyes and not their own carnal eyes. But
Juma, the average person watching at home, what can they do?
At the end of the day, these institutions respond to their constituencies. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and at the end of the day, it's business, man. You know what I mean? I believe it's business for for a lot of these sorts of things. It's business. So you know what I'm saying? If your money is saying, listen, I want this, then you're gonna give your money this. So if there was a unified outrage against some of the things that went on, on, you know what I'm saying? Or unified disagreement with a lot of things that went on in gospel music award shows, then they would do something about it, because nobody wants to mess with the money, gospel or secular. Nobody wants to tamper the money.
Gotta keep it coming in.
So,
they,
like Grace said, I mean, yeah, we can pray, we can write letters, you know what I'm saying? We can get other Christians rally around the cause and get a machine going.
All right. Now let's talk about something different that I know a lot of people at home probably thought about or worried about at some point. Christian television. It's not necessarily Christian music now, but Christian. I'm hesitant to put the Christian in front of the television, but let's just say, just for the sake of recognition, Christian TV out there. Your general feeling on that?
I was telling Juma earlier, I stopped watching it.
Probably that's the best decision you made.
Stop watching it, and anybody else that, you know, even who I disciple, I advise them not to watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, when I watch it, I have to be so discerning and so sharp, be awake when watching, because I hear some stuff that is way off. Like,
Totally.
like, where did they just get that from? Like, completely pulling scripture out of context.
Okay.
And so to a new believer, it's just going to confuse them.
Right.
So, you know, anybody, you know, like I said, that, I mean, God has me disciple. I'm like, no, I don't watch it. You know, just stick to the Bible, a good study Bible, you know what I mean? And, man, it's just crazy.
It is. The other day, someone was telling me about how she heard about, there was this preacher talking about God was, for all the, you know, let me just say this, for all the people who were overweight and who were fat, God was going to send them liposuction angels to sort of get rid of, like, I mean, what's the point that we crossed the ridiculous line? And this is just absolutely insane. So a lot of the stuff is really, they're sending you prayer handkerchiefs and you receive them, and
miracle water.
Miracle water. Oh, there's so much craziness out there. It's Juma.
I think this guy comes to mind who comes on VET late at night, Kearney Thomas. He's like, you can get your miracle. Just call me at 1-800. So get your miracle water. I bet the water. And he's foaming at the mouth, and then he'll break out and be like, God!
Are you serious?
Yo, he's crazy. Yo.
But you know, in the end, this all reflects back on God, and the people who own these Christian networks are going to be held accountable.
They are.
Because this is what God entrusted them with, you know what I mean? To whom much is given, much is required. And that includes saying no to what's popular. You know, it may be bringing you in money, and this whatever hypocritical ministry you may be allowing to be on your network is maybe be the one providing you with your source of income. At the end of the day, you're going to have to answer to God about it.
That's true.
But it's tainting His image, you know what I mean?
It is.
So if you go
If
you go on the streets, you know, you hear kids like, well, what do you want to be one day? I want to be a pastor so I can get money. you know, why I could just go and sell some miracle water. I mean, it's like punchlines. You know what I mean?
It's really unfortunate. So what would you say? A genuine Christian, is it okay for them to go on and feature on one of their shows? Because I see a lot of the time, a lot of Christian artists who might be, while they're raising money for something, they might be the music people for that day, or doing a song or whatever. Is that okay?
I think it depends on, you know, the person's personal convictions.
Okay.
That's a hard one to say. Excuse me, yay or nay. I don't know. I would, you know.
You leave that to that person.
Yeah.
Whether that's right or wrong. You think so as well?
Some things, yeah, you do have to leave to that individual's conviction. Like some things we just don't understand what God is doing through that individual.
Right.
Okay.
Here's what's key though. We always hear Christians say, well, this is what God told me to do.
Yes.
You know, so you can't argue with that. You know what I'm saying? You can't argue. Okay. It's
unscriptural.
So here's always my question to them. That always, you know, stumps them a little bit. I was okay. When God calls you or tells you to do something, does that grant you immunity from Scripture, or is Scripture supposed to confirm the call?
Okay.
You know, you know, for the ones who do use that as a cop out, okay, then show me, confirm it with me in His Word, because His Word shouldn't contradict what you're telling me.
That's right.
No doubt.
Right.
You know.
Okay. All right. We're gonna continue in that point in a minute. Let's just take this quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching The Green Room with a panel discussion today. Y'all stay tuned.